I'd love you to welcome to the stage James Nokise.
Thank you. Thank you for these milk bottles. It is right up there with that time you gave me a shoe. You need to understand when performers come from working class Samoan families, guys. I can't go back to dad and put, like, my siblings win awards now as well. I've got a producer, scientist, post-architect. They have medallions who are on the shelf next to my shoe. You can't give a Samoan a shoe and send them home for respect and then send them back with milk. My dad thinks I have a second job at the moment. I'm like, I have 5, Dad. That's why they're giving me the award. I'm not going to thank people because my career is a bit too diverse at the moment. We don't have that kind of time, and none of you came here for this award. I'm just going to acknowledge some people who are not here. I'm going to start with the Topps. The award's lovely, but to me, as someone who's been in this industry for over 20 years now, thank you, Moisturizer, and the people who understand, the Topps are one of the greatest live acts this country's ever produced, and to have them acknowledge you is actually bigger than the award. Like, that was the first question I asked, was like, they know who I am? And they're not here, so I'm not sure they do. I feel like Rose is meant to have. Anyway, I want to acknowledge them. I want to acknowledge the previous one of this, Joe Randerson. Joe Randerson in Wellington is God. Like, there are so many incredible comedians who come to you with original, fresh voices because of the unheralded support of Joe Randerson. I stand here as an award-winning theater maker and someone who has made out there shows that the comedy community's gone, oh, this is the midlife crisis. Because I've had support and teaching from Joe Randerson and people who Joe Randerson has taught. I want to acknowledge Pacific people. Teresia Terewa is someone you will not have heard of. Incredibly important academic and activist in the history of Pacifica is dead. Legacy lives on, and so much Pacific activist work set me on the path that saw me be a journalist in the Marshall Islands. My dad was very proud that I was a journalist till I told them how much they earned. He's like, it's less? How is it less? And I want to acknowledge Tofinga Fupuliai, who is the greatest Pacific Islands comedian that the world has ever known. And a lot of people don't know that because you're not a very Pacific Island audience. But he has performed to more people than any other comedian in that room, and I include our guest internationals in that list. And we have known each other so long because my father was his father's best man back in the day in Wellington, and he's been cracking me up, and it's very special to have him come out here and talk to you about farting before I accept these milk bottles. I want to also acknowledge the late Efiso Collins, who couldn't be here because he's dead. And I think he would have liked that, by the way. I met him a few times, and it's important to acknowledge that we live in political times where we are losing brown MPs more than we are gaining them. Efiso, I was in Edinburgh when he died, and I still remember, I was so angry, but I work in the arts, so I couldn't break anything in my place. And I was just like, Lord, I said Judith Collins. Like, why did you get this wrong? Like, South Auckland, correct location. But I said Judith, not Efiso. I said, don't take the Samoan husband. Take the woman who uses the Samoan husband as her cultural shields to persecute Māori. Like, can you just do that? And finally, I just want to know someone who's not here, but important, and you might not realize this, is Te Reira. I am winning this for taking comedy in a new and diverse direction, which basically means 7 days never put me on. And it's arguably New Zealand's best political comic, but fuck it. Funding is funding. What are you going to do, not put me on? Radar went to Palestine and interviewed Yasser Arafat. Before social media, before, like, he didn't do it for clout. He did it because he has a thing which I recognize, which some people in here recognize. It is a comedy mentality which goes, you know what would be funny? So he went to fucking Palestine. And he interviewed Yasser Arafat. I know comedians who would murder other journalists to get that. And I say that to you to say, anyone who tells you there was no precedence for New Zealand comedians being political, there is, and always has been, and you're not right now. You're not. And we have the most right-wing government in the history of this country. Argue with a fucking wall against one. Legislatively, they're the most right-wing government in the history of this country, and the comedians are not making enough noise, and you should. I know some of you are like, is it? It's not affecting me that much. Well, yeah, because you're not Māori. Like, you can't, don't do the culture at the beginning of the show if you're not gonna stand up for them when they're under attack. Like, that's, I've been doing stand-up about Māori rights, and I'm not Māori. I'm Samoa. I code as Māori. I understand that. But I do it because there's got to be some voice there, like to just show how stupid, how fast. Oh, we can't say kia ora. Or if you can't say it in this country, where the fuck are you meant to say it? Like, well, kia ora sounds weird in Queenstown. It sounds fucking weird in Wollongong is where it sounds weird. I love coming back to New Zealand for my adventures because I can say kia ora and someone goes kia ora back and then they go tinakwe and I'm like, oh, fuck, what does tinakwe mean? Like, that wasn't on the Air New Zealand flight. Politicians in this country are ridiculous. Yes. Don't be afraid to point that out and make material about it. Like, the worst that happens is you don't get to do a TV spot, and there's only 2 shows left because we have the most right-wing governments. So thank you very much for giving this award. And if you need an excuse to be political, this is the excuse. Good night.
James Nokise, everybody!